left, we can see that curved-looking building that was built by Terry Farrell Architects. That is the home to Charing Cross Railway Station. Built to look like a steam train pulling out of a tunnel with loads of billows of smoke around it. I can't see it, if I'm honest. I think it looks like a toaster. Bad job, Terry. Back to architecture school. Now on our right, we have, for my money, one of the best bits of London. This is London's cultural hub. This is the South Bank Centre, made up of a few buildings here. So we have the Royal Festival Hall. The Royal Festival Hall is a hangover from the 1951 Festival of Britain, where the Clement Attlee Labour government of the time decided that Britain needed a little pick-me-up after the hardship of World War II. So now we have the Royal Festival Hall, which is home to the London Philharmonic Orchestra. There's also other buildings along it. We've got a lovely complex of art centres. So we have the Queen Elizabeth Hall, the Purcell Room, the Hayward Gallery. Also in this complex is, built in 1971, London's oldest skateboard park. It's called the Undercroft. It was built in the 70s. It's full of graffiti, full of skateboarders. It smells funky. It is the place where the 1990s never died. And just ahead of us now, this is Waterloo Bridge. Waterloo Bridge, also called the Ladies' Bridge. That's because it was built during World War II by a crack team of women while men were out fighting in the war. It is the only bridge in London to be built on time and under budget. Make of that what you will. It's also self-cleaning. The entire bridge is built of stone that will clean itself when it rains. I know. Efficiency. I like it. Now on our right, that rather brutal-looking building, that is actually the London's Royal National Theatre. Royal National Theatre, there is a bit of a multiplex of theatres. There are 3 theatres within it, the largest of which being the Olivier Theatre. The Olivier Theatre, named after Sir Laurence Olivier. Old Larry was the first Director General of the National Theatre. And you can see some amazing plays there for cheap. Lots of the plays that they do there then later transfer to the West End, and so do their prices. But I think that's a fantastic example of brutalism as an architectural movement. Not everyone likes that. In fact, King Charles III, then Prince Charles, once described it as looking like the back end of a nuclear power station. So there we go. I think if we can trust anyone on good looks, it's old Charlie. 4. But just ahead of us, to our right, that red brick building with the tower there, that is known colloquially as the Oxo Tower. For those of you joining us from abroad, Oxo is a brand of stock cube. You might have sampled some British cuisine and you might have come to the conclusion that when it comes to flavours, we need all the help we can get. So stocks, gravy, sauces, they're very popular in the UK. This building was bought by the Oxo Corporation in the 1930s. They turned it into a cold meat storage warehouse. They built that tower, and they were taken to court because we can make out on the side of the tower it says Oxo. In the 1930s, when this was built, it was illegal to have skyline advertising on the Thames, so they were taken to court, and they hired a lawyer who said, "Aha! That tower does not say Oxo. We ordered a series of random windows, and this is what turned up." That lawyer won that case. Very good lawyer, particularly stupid judge, who's to say. That judge never did work again after that case. He was known as a laughing stock. The jokes will only get worse from here on in, ladies and gentlemen, I should warn you. But enough of my warped sense of humour. To our left, we have our first proper view of St Cathedral, that magnificent domed building. There's been a St Paul's Cathedral here for donkey's years. This is the 5th St Paul's Cathedral. The last one burnt down in 1666 in the Great Fire of London. This one was completed in 1711. The architect was Sir Christopher Wren, famous architect, famous Freemason. In fact, you might be able to see those golden orbs in the spires next to the tower, next to the dome. Those are actually pineapples. He originally wanted them to be acorns. Acorns are a bit of a Masonic symbol, but they went for pineapples. Bit random, but pineapples were a symbol of wealth back in 1711. We're just coming under Blackfriars Bridge now. Now there's kind of 2.5 bridges here. We've got the road bridge, we've got these mysterious red columns that don't seem to be doing anything, and then we've got Blackfriars Railway Station. Now, what are these columns, I hear you cry? What could they be? Bit of a cliffhanger. I will tell you that on the way back round. Keep you in suspense. We won't be able to make out. We've got some swans on the river today. Coming up for Valentine's Day, I'm sure. Now, to our right, that rather functional looking building, that was originally Backside Power Station, built by the same architect that went on to create Battersea Power Station, and that was a coal power station for London up until 1981, when it was closed down, and in the year 2000 it was reopened as the Tate Modern Art Gallery. It is the biggest collection of modern art in the world. There's some amazing pieces there from the likes of Cézanne, Mondrian, Picasso, Rothko, Dali. It's also entirely free to get into. Some really amazing museums and galleries in London that are open for free. But if modern art isn't your thing, there is a cocktail bar at the top of it. Go have a couple of drinks, come back down, have another look at the art. It will appear to you a lot more, I promise. Now on our right, that white building with the thatched roof and the timber frame. That building was completed all the way back in 1997. Give these lovely people a wave. Hello, lovely people. So this building was completed in 1997. This is the Shakespeare's Globe. It's a recreation of the original Globe Theatre. This one was completed by Sam Wanamaker. Sam Wanamaker was an American actor and director. He came over to the UK looking for a commemoration of Shakespeare and found nothing. So he decided to recreate the theatre as it would have been. It is entirely built using Jacobean building techniques. It's all made of wood. And you can see some amazing plays there for cheap. If you're willing to stand, you can get a ticket for one of the works of Shakespeare for a £5. Because it is very cheap for theatre standards, they do sell out quite quickly. So if you're there to see Macbeth and you're disappointed because they've sold out, don't worry, you can always try again tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. Now through this bridge here. Do make sure as we pass bridges, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that you give the lovely people a wave. This is the only time in London that you'll be able to wave at a stranger and get a wave back with all 5 fingers. To our right, that brick building with the red windows, that's the Anchor Tavern. Now there has been a tavern, a bar, a house of ill repute, an inn there for over 800 years. Many a famous Londoner has quaffed a pint or two in the Anchor. Famous people who've drunk there include Samuel Pepys, the diarist. He quaffed an ale and watched the Great Fire of London from the Anchor. Other famous Londoners include William Shakespeare. So as well as being a bar, it was also a butcher's because it was old hams. And Charles Dickens used to drink there. Charles, or as his friends called him, Chickens. Now looming over us, that monstrosity of steel and glass on our right, that pointy looking building, that is Renzo Piano's The Shard. The Shard is the tallest building in Western Europe. It boasts a whopping 72 floors. It's over 1,125 feet high. There are offices. For your money, you do not get to open the windows and you don't get any outdoor space. Now some would say that is architectural cruelty. I would say it's a work of Schadenfreude. Now coming up just ahead of us, you might be able to make it out, it is in camouflage. We have the HMS Belfast. The HMS Belfast is that light battle cruiser here moored up in the Thames. This particular boat had a fantastic career in the Royal Navy. In World War II, it escorted the Russian convoys over the Arctic. It fired the first shots at D-Day. And it sank the Scharnhorst. The German Navy at the time. It was Adolf Hitler's favourite battleship. And I think we can all agree, maybe Hitler didn't deserve nice things. You can board it today. It is now owned by the Imperial War Museum. You can board it today, have a look around. It's recreated as it would have been during World War II. Those gun turrets on it are still active. Those cannons at the front, they can still fire. They have a range of 12 miles and are currently aimed at the Scratchwood service station on the M1. No one's entirely sure why. Please do remain seated on the upper deck. I know we're very excited because coming up ahead of us, we have Tower Bridge. I Love Tower Bridge is next to the next person. I do not want to be blasted on the side of it, so please do remain seated. There will be ample opportunity for your photographs, I promise you. We are going to do something quite spectacular once we're past it. So yeah, Tower Bridge up ahead of us. It is a combination of steel to suspension and basculated bridge. Now that middle section, those two levers there, they do open up to allow tall ships through. So back in the height of Empire, they would open up 40 times a day. These days, maybe once a day. I find. It's not as old as it looks, Tower Bridge. In fact, it was opened in 1894. That means there are parts of the tube network that are older than Tower Bridge. That means there are drivers on the tube network that are older than Tower Bridge. Now it has this red, white and blue livery on it at the moment, but when it was first constructed the whole thing was painted brown. That is because chocolate was Queen Victoria's favourite food, so we painted it brown in honour of her. Now give these people a wave. It's very important that we give these people a wave, so if we get a wave back. And we do! A wave back! And no spitting, that is a luxury. Hello! Now it is good luck if you get a wave back from the people on Tower Bridge. So there we go, we all have 5 years good luck now. I'm off after this to get myself a scratch card, ask for a raise, all of that stuff. So we are going to come parallel to it in just a second. I'm going to ask you all to remain seated, but I have ducked out the way so you've got an unobstructed view. This is going to be your next Facebook profile picture. Pop this on Instagram, no filter needed, because I think we can all agree, look at that, we have Tower Bridge, the old city and the new, all in one shot. Do be careful with your phones, don't hang them out the side of the river. If they drop into the Thames, there is very little we can do to retrieve them, they are gone. Same with children. Now, as I said, that middle section does lift off. In 1951, a bus driver by the name of Harold Gunther was driving his double-decker Routemaster bus along the bridge. When the bridge started to open, he decided instead of hitting the brakes, he was going to make the jump. So his double-decker bus full of commuters ended up being like a 1950s Evel Knievel. Everyone was safe and sound. He broke a leg. But he was back into work the next day, because we are Londoners, we fundamentally don't want to make a fuss, even if it inconveniences everyone else around us. Now, as I said, this is not as old a bridge as it looks. In fact, this Cornish granite cladding on the outside, that is just the front, it is all steel girders within. That's because it's built to match the Tower of London, which we can see on our right. The Tower. They started building the tower after William the Conqueror came to Britain in 1066 to conquer, making him Britain's last ruler with honest intentions. During its time, it's been an observatory, a royal mint, it's been a zoo, it's been royal residences. You can go and see the crown jewels today. When Charlie isn't wearing them. But back in the medieval period, this was a hub of torture in London. If you were seen to be a traitor to the crown, you were sent in through Traitor's Gate. And once you were going in, you weren't coming back out. So when you were there, you were subject to all sorts of horrid tortures. They would apply thumb screws, they would apply the stretching rack, and they would apply a device called the pear. I will let you Google the pear in your own time, but please, after, do delete your internet history. Now, if you were royal, you would be executed in the tower. If you were not royal, they would take you up the hill, and there they would sever your head from your shoulders. You better sharpen the axe that morning. If not, it might take a few goes. But enough of London.